Okay, so what is your job title and what are some basic responsibilities you have?
My job title is I am a program coordinator for a high acuity clinical program at a high school. Some of my job responsibilities include managing my own caseload of 10 high schoolers with behavioral needs, emotional needs, psychiatric needs. Um, so I do a lot of case management, collaboration with teachers, collaboration with school social workers and guidance counselors, as well as administrators. And in addition to that, I do family work and individual sessions with those students. Part of my responsibilities as well, being program coordinator, is that I do oversee the entire program and oversee two other clinicians in the program as well.
That is a lot. So, what does a typical day look like for you?
Oh boy. I'll give you a lowdown on what my day looked like today, I guess, since I just got out of work. So, a typical day is having a couple individual sessions with my students, making some phone calls home to their families to check in, see how their weekends were, see if there was any disruptions over the weekend. So, it's always important for me to know, obviously, if there's like a psychiatric crisis that happened over the weekend, any hospitalizations, 211 calls, that sort of thing. So do phone calls with parents and then a lot of meetings with teachers. So I am regularly checking my students' grades and attendance, making sure they're going to classes, making sure their grades are looking, baseline for them. And then I also do team meetings with the other clinicians on my team. So we basically just check in on how all of our students are doing in the program, just making sure things are running smoothly. And yeah, I think that's it. But every day looks very different. So sometimes I'll have students who pop up at my room being like, I'm having a really tough time in class, and they need some support, or they sometimes avoid class. So they
Right.
come and check in with me, and I'll walk them back to class. Just a lot of skill building throughout the day to basically just help them maintain well while they're at school.
Okay, so what is your favorite part about the job and what's your least favorite part about the job?
My favorite part, I think my favorite part is, I don't know. I love the kids that I work with. So anytime I get to interact with them, for an individual my individual sessions are usually go pretty well because it's a planned time when we're working on their goals. We're working on skill building. So I really, really like that time that I get to spend with them one on one. My least favorite part of the job would probably have to be paperwork. I have to do pretty rigorous notes every day. I have to document every single interaction I have with these kids, whether that's at lunchtime or redirecting them in the hallway or talking to a teacher or talking to their parent or talking to a community provider. So that is definitely arduous and definitely my least favorite part of the job, documenting things.
Yeah, I bet. What type of training and schooling did you have to do?
So me personally, I did 4 years of undergrad for my bachelor's in psychology. And then I did my 2 years master in social work program, which I believe, yeah, for my particular job, you need that qualification. You need to have a master's in marriage and family counseling or social work or counseling. And then, yeah, other than that, my other experience was I've been working with adolescents and children since I graduated from my master's program. So having that experience is obviously something that an employer would look at when choosing someone for this job, I'm guessing.
Yeah, right. I would hope.
I would hope so.
Yeah. What's something you wish you knew before entering your job?
Hmm. Oh, I don't know. Not to be cheesy, but I don't think I would have liked it as much as I thought I was going to like it. And always saw myself being at a school in some capacity. So this was like I deal with some pretty intense kids with some pretty intense needs. And it's like, oh, it's just going to be another job where, I'm working around the clock. It's, a lot of, a mental toll, but I actually really like it. And I learned, I think, from this job that I figured out work-life balance pretty well from this job. Working in a school, you have the weekends off,
Yeah.
whereas I've had other jobs in the past where I've been on call on the weekends or I've had to work late nights kind of thing. So I guess I wish I knew that, like, I would figure out self-care before. I think I was really nervous about that.
Yeah.
And I think I was really nervous that I might not like it. So, yeah, I wish I knew those things before, but yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. How has your position or field changed since being in it, and how and if do you see it changing in the future?
I definitely think that there's been a big shift in the way that others see the mental health field since I've been in it. I wouldn't even call myself like a veteran in the field because I've only been in the field technically since graduating my master's in 2018, and then graduating from my undergrad in 2015. So it's been less than 10 years I've been in the field, but definitely I think over the time that I've been here, I've definitely noticed like the stigma around mental health to be changing. I definitely see people to be more open and more engaged in therapy, which is wonderful. Obviously, COVID really, I think really took a toll on a lot of people. And I think it really I think like the online platforms that are out there really made it accessible for people to be able to access mental health. So I think those are some good changes that I've seen happen. Some like not so great changes. I've definitely been noticing that people are having a really tough time and it's not getting any better. So while, access is getting a little bit better and like there's more positive feelings around mental health, I mean, people are still struggling a lot.
Yeah.
And so I've noticed that's not getting, any better. So, I guess in our fields, we'll luckily always have a job. It's kind of like a bittersweet thing of like, we'll always have a job because there's always going to be mental health needs. But I definitely think like the access and like the positive, messaging around mental health has made it a lot easier for people to seek that out.
Definitely. Is there any possibilities for advancement or opportunities in your current position?
Yeah, so I'm the program coordinator now, and I was a clinician the last 2 years at this job. So I just got a promotion this year, which is great. And there are our program, Effective School Solutions, is expanding a lot. Obviously, within school setting, we're across the country. And so with expansion comes, people needing to move up in the company and people needing to, be placed in other places. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities to like advance. I don't know if I would want that because it would be less direct care, less direct work with students. So this would probably be like the highest level I'd want to go, but there's definitely room in my company for me to advance.
Okay, that's good. Do you think your work aligns with your skills and values as a person?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah. I don't know what exactly, but no, I think, this career in general, you get into this career because of your values, because you believe in, equity and you believe in access and you believe in, treating people with respect and kindness. And those are some of my values. And in my job, I obviously use all of those skills and those values in my everyday work. So I definitely think, it aligns with my personal values.
Okay. What's something you want students in the mental health field to know?
I think it's super wonderful that people are still choosing to go into this field. I think it's a hard, emotionally tolling field to go into, but it's so worth it. I mean, you just see it in those like everyday interactions, with your clients and with the people that you work with. And though it might not feel like you're making a difference at that moment, I know for a fact, like one of my supervisors told me, like, we're planting seeds. Like, we're planting seeds for, especially if you work with children, you're planting seeds for these kids. And like, you're never going to be able to see the tree grow, but like, the seeds are there and the roots are building.
Yeah.
And so that's something I always think about, like what those days when I come home feeling like super discouraged, I'm like, well, you know what? If they didn't have me today, like who knows what that situation could have looked like in terms of like the support that they had, but also like, hopefully they learned a skill today that they're not just going to take from today's experience, but from another experience. So, I think it's great that people are going into the field still. And I think like social work in general, because I'm a social worker, social workers in general can work wherever. We can work in hospitals, we can work in schools, we can work with veterans, we can work with the geriatric population, adults, private practice. Like the list can go on and on forever. And I think that we're going to find that that we're not just put in a box. Like we can go anywhere. And I think that they're going to see a need for social workers and mental health professionals like everywhere. So I think that like it's a good time to be in the field. It's a good time to be, helping people out, because gosh knows we need more people like this.
Yeah, no, definitely. So my last question, it probably ties into what you were just talking about, but it's like, what's the biggest lesson you've learned so far?
Biggest lesson I have learned so far. I don't know. I think working with teenagers, and we know how teenagers are. Yeah. I mean, we've all been teenagers, so we know what that's like. I think working with teens, I've learned not to take anything personally, and especially working with their parents too, as I can't take anything personally. I think, being in our job, we obviously have an emotional connection to these people that we work with in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And I think it's just important to like differentiate like those things, because if I sat down based on everything that was said to me today, or things I heard, or things I experienced today, like I could go probably like cry. I think it's really important to differentiate like that we can't take those things personally, and we have to leave those things kind of at the door when we leave at the end of the day. And yeah, so I think your question was, what lesson did I learn? Yeah, I think that's one of them. There's definitely many others, but that's definitely one. And learning work-life balance was really crucial, and it's crucial for anybody who's going to be in this job.
Definitely. Okay, great.